This segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs.
Hey everybody, welcome back into Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. It's summertime and there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to celebrate, but there's also things that you can do to improve yourself, improve our community, those kind of things. And the Haven of Houma is working on a 3-day seminar. It's going to have one in Lafourche, one in Terrebonne Parish, and it'll be about interactive workshops covering healthy relationships, warning signs of abuse, and those kind of things. The series is called Real Love, Real Talk. And it's going to be happening in July the 14th through the 16th in Terrebonne. That'll be at the Terrebonne Library, the North Branch Library. And in Lafourche, July 28th through the 30th at the Lafourche Parish Public Library at the Thibodaux Branch. Here to talk more about it is Julie Pellegrin, the Executive Director of the Haven. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to spread the word.
Yeah, and so, this is a good time to talk about these kind of things. You know what you deal with at the Haven, and, abusive relationships, those kind of things where people end up in trouble where maybe they could have been warning signs before you get so far down the road. So tell me a little bit about these seminars.
So our counselors on the staff have developed these interactive workshops for teens. Macy Laperouse and Paige Pellegrin, who are therapists at the Haven. These are originally developed by them. They are targeting specific skills to develop in young people so that they recognize the early signs of an abusive relationship or an unhealthy relationship, and give them practical tools to both get out of that relationship, who to turn to, where to go, what to do, but also how to support their friends when they identify that maybe their friend isn't so much in a healthy relationship. Yeah,
I guess, domestic violence, it can always, it's always an issue. You hear about colleges where, a high level of people maybe in date situations where they get themselves into it. The Haven's a little different. I guess we're talking about relationships where people live together and that kind of stuff. What are some of the warning signs without giving away the entire seminar?
Yeah. So I'll say this, that the primary warning signs that you see in relationships that are characterized by violence or that might indicate that there will be violence later in the relationship is inequality in that relationship, or name calling, controlling behaviors like checking somebody's phone, or just telling a person when they can go somewhere, where they can go, how to dress, what to wear. And so sometimes those things seem very helpful or maybe just curious things, but really they're very small warning signs that maybe this is not going to be a very healthy relationship for someone. Name calling is a big one. Sometimes there's a lot of play fighting, but that play fighting eventually becomes very violent in nature.
Yeah, is this, I guess between men and women, is it a fight to be the more controlling one, I guess, the more masculine one, or those kind of things? You do say, domestic violence, but a lot of bullying or name calling, I guess, too, would fall into that category.
Yeah, what's interesting is that relationships that are characterized as domestic violence or end up being dating violence relationships or have violence that are prevalent in them do not start out as violent relationships. They start out sometimes looking like a normal or healthy relationship, but individuals, when they go back, can identify things that they say, just didn't feel right or just didn't feel like it was okay, but they weren't exactly sure. They didn't know who to talk to, who to turn to. And so our goal is to teach those early signs and build a supportive network for young people so that as they get older and as they become more adults, more college age, they find themselves empowered to be able to say no or to walk away or to know that they deserve better than that. They don't have to deal with that.
Right. And violence is never a great idea. But yeah, it's something you need to talk about because, on the boy side and the girl side, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes, I don't certainly don't blame her, but sometimes it's getting hit back. I've talked to my daughter about these kind of things, and it's like, first of all, it's never all right for a girl who thinks she's got less power to strike somebody else too. But it's also, you shouldn't get a second chance, right?
Yeah.
To me, if it happens one time, it's probably going to happen again. So in our world, and again, I think that's what you're talking about. You get trapped in these relationships. But in our world, it was like, if anything ever happens abusive, they don't get a second chance.
Yeah, that's what we want young women to understand, young girls, teenagers to understand, that it is okay to understand somebody's pain or to understand where somebody's coming from, but you can understand that without putting up with it. You can say no, you can set boundaries, you can walk away. And it doesn't mean that you're an uncaring person or unkind person. It just means that you don't have to accept that in your own lives. It's estimated that 1 in 3 teenagers will be in an unhealthy relationship at some point in their lives, from 16 to, say, 24, most violent time for young women. And so our goal is to help educate them and help bring about a network of people who can help them to get out of these situations.
Yeah.
Support is extremely important.
Right, absolutely. So we got a couple of segments to talk about. So who is involved? Who can go to these seminars?
So it's open to the public, ages 13 to 17. You don't have to sign up. They're free of charge. You can come to one session or all 3 sessions. They're interactive. They're going to be fun. Lots of snacks, lots of door prizes. We want you to have a really good time while you're learning. So it's not going to be a lecture. It's going to be interactive.
Right.
It's going to be really
And it's
fun.
boys and girls, right?
It's
not
boys
just
and girls.
one-sided, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So a chance for everybody to kind of talk about why we have some of these issues, throw in phones, throw in
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. It might get explosive. We'll take a break. We'll talk more about this when we come back right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. Julie Pellegrin is the executive director of the Haven. There'll be a couple of seminars, one in Terrebonne and one in Lafourche. There'll be Real Love, Real Talk. It's a 3-day interactive workshop covering healthy relationships for teens, basically. It's free to the public. Everybody can go. Although we will talk about, the Haven obviously it needs fundraising and those kind of things as well. Let's talk about, you talked about grabbing somebody's phone, trying to control them, looking at it. In today's world of social media, where people are taking pictures of themselves all the time, or they may be kind of swiping on Tinder or whatever. Does that escalate those kind of things, you think, over a long time?
Yeah, I do think that social media plays a big role these days in violent relationships or in controlling relationships, and that a lot of people will use social media to bully and intimidate other individuals. And there's always that threat that social media can be used against you or to harm you. And when that can happen, when you're worried about being called out or being ridiculed or being harassed on social media, you might be afraid to walk away or to say no or to set boundaries. And so we want to encourage people to use social media in a very healthy way and to understand the ramifications of things like pictures and things like threats and stuff like that, because it's really important that social media not be used in the way that it is used many times against teens.
Yeah, and look, teens, that's such a difficult time in our lives, right? I mean, everything's kind of exploding inside and outside of your body, at the same time. You're trying to find boundaries that you don't know where the line is a lot of times, those kind of things. It's difficult for boys and girls. I mean, we know now there's kind of a crisis for little boys who are stuck in their rooms now just playing video games all day. They don't get out because they're scared, somebody's going to blame them or accuse them or something, So, it's a tough time for both sexes.
It's super tough. And what we do know is that teens are very unlikely, no matter how healthy their relationship is with their parent, they are unlikely to go to their parent for fear of many things, for being judged or for being punished or for just not wanting them to know what's going on. And we know that. We know theoretically, we know from research that teens are unlikely to go to their parents. They're more likely to turn to their peers. So the more peers, the more teens in the area that we can educate, the more likely that, hey, when my friend turns to me, I know what to say, I know what to do. Maybe I can go to a trusted school counselor, maybe I can go to a trusted neighbor. I mean, we want to encourage teens to go to their parents, but when they can't or when they feel a barrier to that, we want to make sure that their friend next to them knows what to say and to do.
Sure. And is there a common theme that you see in violence that I think a lot of times it's insecurity, on both sides, but a lot of times a guy's insecure. I'm gonna lose this girl. I'm never gonna find somebody else. And they get desperate, and those kind of things lead to bad outcomes.
I will say that violent relationships can all look very different. However, most of them are characterized by control. There's a need for one person to exert control of the other, and that control is plays out in many different ways. One of them is usually possessiveness or jealousy. And so a lot of times we'll write jealousy off as, a caring, loving, protective kind of thing, when jealousy can oftentimes lead to violence.
Right, yeah. So it's never good. Again, girls, just my opinion. One time, you never get a second shot.
That's what we want to teach everybody.
So again, Real Love, Real Talk. Again, in Terrebonne Parish, it'll be July 14th through the 16th. It'll be from 2 to 4 at the North Branch Library. And then in Lafourche, it'll be July 28th through the 30th, 2 to 4 at the Public Library, the Thibodeau branch. Now, with that said, the Haven, you guys have a big mission of what you're doing over there, Julianne. Tell me about Haven Helps and the essential items for like a donation drive.
Yeah, so the Haven, as you know, has many programs, and one of our largest is the emergency shelter, where we can help families get out as soon as they need to and live with us. And so when they come to us, they don't have usually anything. They have had to just leave in the middle of the night. So a huge part of our ability to help as many families as possible is the amount of donations that we receive. So clothing. Right now, we're in need of washing powder, Ziploc bags, trash bags, and twin or full-size sheets is a big need for us. So if anybody out there would like to help us, you can donate those things.
So they can obviously probably drop it off, but also you can go to Amazon and you have an Amazon wish list that makes it easier in today's world to just click and drop.
Absolutely. You can click and do it. It'll ship right to us, and then we can send you a tax ID receipt for your donation from that. But you can check us out on our social media, Facebook, on our Haven Helps page, and you can get all the details up there as well.
Like I say, y'all have a wish list on there too?
We do.
It's on there so you can look and see, okay, this is what they need right now?
Yeah. Every month we try to post what our most, what we most in need of that month, and try to keep the community updated with how they can help us. There are things we need all the time. Imagine anything in your house, toilet paper, paper towels, toilet bowl cleaner, anything you need in your house, we're consuming for 25 people on a daily basis.
Is there a season where you guys need to help for more people, or is it around the holidays or summer? Is there a season?
It's so interesting. This is probably our busiest time of the year, from the time school ends to the time school begins, because people are willing to leave their homes when their kids don't have to be disrupted in their schools. So this is one of our busiest time. Our second busiest time, I would say, is through the Christmas holidays, loaded into Mardi Gras.
Okay. Well, Julie, thanks so much. And again, you can go on your webpage and find out a lot of more information. But these are two great workshops. So thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
All right. We'll be right back with more Bite Time right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Cypress Stop, home of the happy customer.